Hi, everybody. This is Hondo Carpenter from Sports Illustrated's Fan Nation Las Vegas Raiders Insider Podcast here at SoFi Stadium, where just moments ago, yet again, you saw the Raiders lose. They fall to 1-3. The score was 24-17, but in fairness, it really wasn't that close. Aiden O'Connell gets the start. We got a lot to talk about tonight. The Raiders were able to stay in the game despite 7 sacks, multiple penalties, several of them stupid, just stupid. I'm not calling the players that committed them stupid, but they were stupid penalties. Unforced errors, self-inflicted wounds, circular firing squad, poor coaching, lack of discipline. You can add anything you want to add, and it's probably going to be germane and fair. So we got a lot to talk about. I apologize for the noise. Obviously, they're cleaning up the stadium here. But let's just dig right into it. A couple of observations I want to make. Earlier in the week, the Raiders were going to start Brian Hoyer. They made the decision to possibly go away from that. I got a text early this morning. This is Sunday, the day of the game. It was early this morning when I got off the plane, saying that we're going to see some O'Connell. I'm going to make a couple of statements. You've had Aiden inactive for 3 games. He wasn't your backup. So he's not getting second reps, which is more reps, getting him ready. So then Jimmy goes down and you start him. Now, let me just say something to you. I have no issue with Aiden O'Connell playing. In fact, if you really want to know the truth, I think the kid showed us a lot that Jimmy Garoppolo hasn't shown us. Just being fair. My issue is if you're going to have him in week 4 when Jimmy goes down, then he should have been there all along getting more reps. That's not on Aiden O'Connell. That's on coaching. And that's going to be a theme of this tonight is coaching. So again, I have no issues whatsoever. In fact, I get it. I think it makes complete sense. He's your guy of the future. Brian Hoyer was brought in to keep this, if Jimmy goes down in a game, which we've seen him a couple times, or and to be a coach to Aiden. But this is something we discussed in my question and answer articles and in podcasts before the season when you asked me who would be the number 2. And but they decided to go with Aiden, which again, I don't have an issue with the decision to go to Aiden. If you want to know the truth, I think it's a smart move. I think that was the right move to make. So I am not sitting here with the benefit of 2020 backward vision saying starting Aiden was a good move. I'm here, or wasn't a good move, or was, it doesn't matter. I'm sitting here saying it was a good move, but the not having him prepared, not getting him more reps after what you saw in preseason. Now, listen, we know preseason isn't regular season, but you haven't had him ready. He hasn't been out there. He hasn't been getting the number 2 guy reps. I just think that was a blunder. Let's continue. I asked Josh McDaniels after the game today, you have a worst offense today, 21 games into your regime, than you inherited when the previous guy got fired. That's on Josh McDaniels. You have $102 million offensive payroll, $102 million, 9th in the NFL. By the way, last week I said 3rd in the NFL. I apologize. It's corrected. It's 9th in the NFL. I apologize. And you have a 9th in the NFL paid offense. And forget that it was just a rookie. Yeah, well, your rookie just scored more points than your veteran, highly played quarterbacks averaging. Facts. I mean, I'm sorry. Now, it's not Josh McDaniels' fault when Jerry Tillery yet again does something stupid. Not calling Jerry stupid. He's not. But man, dumb penalty last year, smacking the ball out of a guy's hand, just a brainless mistake. And then today, the guy's clearly out of bounds and you pound him. Let me just tell you, first of all, you can't do that. And you're the Raiders. I mean, football IQ. Come on now. Come on. Multiple penalties. I mean, you got a defensive back lining up off sides. Come on now. That's like going to a store and you see a 400-pound person. with a 5-gallon pail of ice cream and a carton of cigs and 35 bags of chips, 85 pounds of sugar and a canister of iced tea, and they say, oh, can I get a Diet Coke? Now, why don't you just splurge? Dumb. Missed tackles everywhere. I'm sorry. You expect that in Pee Wee football. You expect it in junior football, freshman football, JV football, varsity football in high school, even in some colleges. These are grown men getting paid a lot of money. And you can't tackle somebody? You're them. You got your arms wrapped around them like a... And you can't make a tackle? Give me a break. Now, is it Josh McDaniels' fault that when a guy misses a tackle, or Jerry Tiller? Well, yes, and here's why. Nick Saban has told me this. You've heard me say it, and he said it to other people. If you're allowing it, you're coaching it. Last year, we gave a ton of grace because of when they got here and whatever else. These are the players that Josh McDaniels wanted. And let me be very clear, because I've had some people saying how much of this is on Ziegler. You can look to Ziegler at the draft, but you got players here Josh McDaniels wanted. You got the 9th highest paid offense, and you can't do crap. Hey, can you imagine if you went to a Jenny Craig clinic and I was your instructor? You'd be like, what the hell? You got the 9th highest paid offense. People around the league have called you an offensive genius. Your lack of ability to produce is squarely on you. Okay. You don't like all the mistakes. Okay. These are the players you wanted. Okay. These are the people you decide, I apologize. Coach Staley's doing his press conference. I'm going to keep going. But this is what you wanted. This is what you desired. These are the things that you wanted. Don't complain about the meal when you picked out the groceries. I'm sorry. No excuse. This was a horrific performance, utterly embarrassing. I said to Josh McDaniels afterward, we're going to put the video up. I said, you have a worse offense than what you inherited. Your team's lacking discipline, execution errors. What do you and your staff do to fix it? This is on this staff. You wanted this. You desired this. And you got to fix it. Now, I'm going to say something that's going to be completely unpopular. I get it. I understand it. I don't care. My job is not to become popular with you. I'm not looking for Christmas cards. When you pay this defense what you pay them, okay, when you pay that defense, and granted, you're all going to look at their paychecks, say, well, they make a lot of money. Okay, but comparative to other NFL teams, I think this defense has played relatively well. Okay, you give up, your offense gives up 7 sacks. The turnovers, 2 fumbles, an interception, and you're mad at your defense? No, there were a lot of defensive mistakes. I mentioned Tillery. I mentioned the defensive back being offside, but I'm sorry. With the money you invested, I mean, it's like buying a home in the worst neighborhood for $35,000 and getting pissed when you can't sell it for $2 million when you put $3 million to improve it in. Well, look at where you're at. You get what you pay for. Come on now. I'm sorry. It's on you. And this is not a personal attack. I'm not calling for anyone to lose their job. Dear God, we're 4 games into a 17-game season. But what I am saying is the continued blunders, this is all on leadership. I had pages and notes today to talk about players. Those of you that watch my post games, you know that's what I do. I go through and talk about players. Early on, I thought Tyree early on looked good, disappeared. I don't even think he could have made it onto a milk carton because he would have disappeared from that. Early on, though, it was the best he's played. Early on. But you got critical errors, critical mistakes. That is all on coaching. Every single cotton picking bit of it. That's on coaching. And so for the Raiders, here's the problem. I expected you when I made my preseason prediction to be 2-2. I expected a loss today, predicted a loss today. This doesn't surprise me. This is not how the game went, but the score is relative to what I thought. Thought it'd be a one-game score. I think I predicted 24-21, and it was 24-17. Whatever. It's essentially what I predicted. It's what I expected. But this team has got to find a way to produce. This team has got to find a way. And this is all on coaching. I'm sorry. The offensive line looked horrible. You were pushed around. You were beat up. Listen, y'all know I love the offensive line. I'm a big ugly. I like hanging out with big uglies. I'm a lineman guy. And you are the returning offensive line for the NFL's leading rusher. And today you were embarrassed. Every person on that offensive line should be embarrassed. Every person on that offensive line should be sitting at home pissed off. And when that plane lands in Vegas, go in and lift, go in and get treatment and watch film and say, man, Monday night, with all the NFL world watching, Monday night, this got to be fixed. Now, I wrote an article last week that Josh McDaniels was in danger of losing a lot more than just this game. I stand by that. I do not believe he has, as of yet, lost this. So I'm going to be talking to people on the phones. I'll probably have a little bit more to say a little bit later in the week, probably Tuesday, about that subject. And so I'll be accountable to you there. But the way this team kept fighting, even at the end, is not indicative of a team that has quit. So you may choose to believe it. I saw on my timeline a lot of people said it, and that's fine. I'm not critical of you feeling that way, but I'm telling you, as a guy that was just in the locker room, I think they're mad. I think they're angry. I think they're frustrated. I think they're looking for answers. This is when your coaching staff gives them. It's why you're the coaching staff. Remember Saban? If you're allowing it, you're coaching it. They're looking for that leadership. I think Josh McDaniels, 21 games in, says it all. You're supposed to be the offensive guy. You put all your money, all your horse money. It's like going to a racetrack, putting all your money on one horse. You put your money into an offensive horse and your offense sucks. Okay? Your big money quarterback that you handpicked today, in my opinion, just got outplayed by a rookie who hasn't been properly prepared. Ouch. You got a great running back in Josh Jacobs, but I'm sorry, he can't work if the moment he gets the ball, he's got people on him. Yeah, I believe in yak, yards after the catch, but you got to be able to get some type of a head of steam. I mean, does anyone not say, where's Khalil Mack? Bueller. I mean, y'all may not have played with Khalil, but y'all need to be football fans enough to know who Khalil is. I mean, Josh had schemes called to chip him, double him, hit him, knock him around, and he still is like, excuse me, and went. It was brutal. What I just saw against a good Charger team, but had a ton of stars out. Dear God, can you imagine if they were at full strength? This would have been a whooping. I mean, it was bad. So what is the complete recap? This is all on coaching. Now, I understand people are going to come to me and say, oh, no, how can you say that when players are the ones who execute? Because remember what Saban said, if you allow it, you're coaching it. And this has been the story. Has this not been the story? I don't think you got a lot of horses on defense. This is why I said I thought this was not a playoff team. And I stand by that. I think I've been proven right after 4 games. But you chose to spend your money there. I remember a buddy one time of mine who had a house that was not really a great house, wasn't in a great neighborhood, and he drove a beautiful, gorgeous, brand new Corvette. And I remember him telling me, yeah, my parents are all mad at me because I have a dump of a house, but an amazing car. He goes, but I wanted the car and the house isn't as important to me. Okay, it's his money. Don't complain about your defense when you put all your money into a Corvette, but forgot no transmission. I'm sorry. The complete recap is this coaching staff is not performing. It's not listen, at some point, players got to get the hint. And when it continues to happen, that's coaching. That's preparation. That's all on them. Now, I'm not sitting here saying we've fired Josh McDaniels. Who are you going to replace him with? Ask yourself that, Jackson. I mean, everybody has a tendency to say, fire this guy, get rid of the guy. Well, who are you going to replace him with? Okay, that's to me is foolishness. You can do it if you want. I'm not calling you foolish. I'm just saying that the statement is foolishness. Who are you going to replace him with? So you got 13 games left. And you got a lot of time. If you can turn this thing around, there's plenty of time. The season's not over, regardless of what everyone says. It ain't over. There's still game to be played. But now you got to get in there and figure out the mess. This is what Josh McDaniels gets paid for in each of his hand-picked staff. I'm sorry. I think Josh has a decent staff. He's got a couple guys on there that I'm baffled are still part of his team. But guess what, Josh? You wanted them. You made this meal. You got to eat it now. I can tell you right now, I believe Ziegler got Josh what Josh wanted. I think he would have built it a little bit differently. I absolutely believe that. I don't think he would say that publicly. And I'm not implying he said it to me. But it is what it is. And so we are stuck now. And when I say we, they are stuck now with a 1-3 team, underperforming, lack of discipline, lack of execution. I can go on, but there's no reason to. You're beating a dead horse. But I'm going to tell you something. A lot of anger in that locker room. Again, I personally, and I would tell you guys, if I felt this team had given up on Josh, I think there's a lot of questions of him. I think that's absolutely fair, and I know it to be correct. But I think there's a lot of questions about him. I think there's a lot of people wondering about him. A lot of people guessing. But I don't think he's lost it, or this team would not have fought and come back. That's just, I've been around football too long, folks. That's not what teams that quit do. I think you could see it. In fact, I tweeted out a picture. Somebody else tweeted about Max looking despondent on the sideline. Those are signs of teams that are weary. This team's weary. Somehow Josh McDaniels this week has to dust them off, build them up, and at the same time put a boot in their ass. It is what it is. There's no getting around it. This is all on coaching now. It's clear what players are underperforming. It's clear what players are not doing well. We know the players that are making dumb mistakes. You know, you got to keep some guys because your coach wants to put so much money into offense. Okay, well, we can afford this guy. But now it's on him. This is all Josh McDaniels. In fact, I'm going to go a step further. There's zero pressure on the team this week. It's all on Josh McDaniels. Green Bay's coming to town. This is a beatable team. There are games coming up that are winnable games. And your team can respond and get back on track. But this is what you wanted. This is what you got. Now you got to fix it. But the execution mistakes, it is players. I'm sorry, but am I the only one that would like to see a coach walk out, pull a guy off the field, and put a backup in? I would have. And yes, some backups got reps, but I mean, make a statement. Okay, you go sit your ass right over there. We'll see it after the game. All right, Rook. Okay, young blood, you're in. If the veteran's going to make screwed up mistakes, I'm gonna ride with you. Is that fair? I think it is. I think it is. Aiden O'Connell did a lot today that I thought was really good. He did some things that weren't good, but he's a rookie in his first start. That was underprepared, in my opinion. and in the opinions of some others, by the way. And so I asked this question on my Twitter. In fact, you can go vote at Hondo Carpenter is my Twitter, and I'll let you know what the results are. Several thousand of you have voted. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. I asked Raider Nation, who do you want starting at quarterback next week? A04, that's Aiden O'Connell, 76%. And Garoppolo, 24%. I think you can make an argument for both. I believe it will be Garoppolo, 100%, because it would have been a Garoppolo this week. And I believe that they know they're playing for a lot and they need wins. And they believe right now Garoppolo is the one that's going to give them the best shot. That's their decision. Their decision. I think the young gun just showed you a lot more than Garoppolo has. But it's the reality of the situation. It is what it is. And now Josh has to fix it. I want someone put a tweet out that said Hondo's now on the fire McDaniels bandwagon train or something like that. I'm not on any train. My job is to report to you what I just saw. And what I just saw was a filthy mountain mess. Does anybody remember the first original Jurassic Park when they came up on this big, high, huge, taller than them pile of dinosaur poo? Well, I just watched a SoFi stadium full of poo. It was horrible. The Chargers, with one of the worst coaches in the world, they have so much talent. Even with all those guys down, the way the Raiders are playing, they should have killed them. This was a ripe game for the Raiders to steal, and they just looked terrible. So the motto of the week is, the recap is, coaching sucked. It was terrible. Now you may say, what about this, and this? Again, it's not about player execution, because this has been a theme. So it's being allowed now. It's been allowed. They got to fix it. This is all on Josh McDaniels. The Nation next week at Allegiant Stadium, Monday Night Football. The Green Bay Packers. Going to be a ton of green in that stadium. Are coming in. You may not know this, but the entire football world watches Monday Night Football. Everybody except the two teams. Everybody's going to be watching. And Josh McDaniels on national TV is going to be able to show, wow, I rallied my troops. I fixed it. Or on national TV, it is going to be an utter embarrassment. I have no prediction right now. I got to go back and watch the film. I'm going to talk to some people. I want to get some more analysis before I make my thoughts known. I have some thoughts, but I want to report, not give opinion. But this was very disappointing. And I don't think there's any other way to parse it. This is on Josh McDaniels now. Y'all know I like him. Good man. Not calling for his firing. There's 13 games left. But all the eyes are on it. Everybody can see it. The Band-Aid's ripped off. You are 21 games in, and your offense is horrible. Your player discipline is horrible. Your player execution is horrible. You have made some unbelievably terrible coaching decisions. All the spotlight's on him. This is Josh McDaniels' week. 1-3. Unexcusable. Not the record, but how they're playing. Again, I do not feel like he's lost the locker room. But I certainly don't feel like there is any trust at all. Now it's going to be, you got to show us. He's got to fix it. And it's going to be interesting to see. From here at SoFi Stadium, this is Hondo Carpenter from Sports Illustrated's Fan Nation, Las Vegas Raiders Insider Podcast. You know we're going to have great coverage for you all week. We will see you next, we'll see you tomorrow, but next week, Monday Night Football, the eyes of the nation. It is going to be a microscope event. Can't wait for it. See you all later. Thank you for listening. By the way, if you haven't subscribed, please do that. Please, we try to bring you unbiased, just honest reporting for you. That's what I think we give you. We're not fans, so our reporting doesn't come from a fire anyone or love anyone. It's just pure honest analysis. I hope you appreciate it. Thank you all. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. God bless you.